How are we all doing? Welcome to today's video. So today we're going to do a song, just to take a break from all the theory stuff. And the song I decided to do today was "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran. It's a nice, easy song in terms of chords to do, and it also works on one of the strumming patterns that we were discussing a few weeks back. So we are going to, if you have a capo, it goes on the first fret. If you don't have a capo, it's fine. You can still play this song without the capo, just on the open guitar, on the open neck. It won't sound exactly like it does in the track, but it will sound very similar. And it will also suit a lot of people who have kind of a deeper voice if you're singing along as well. So we'll get straight into the song now. So to start off, we're going to look at the strumming pattern in this. Um, the song runs off of a thing called triplets. So if you have a beat of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that means there's 3 strums per beat. Okay, so it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, per beat and per chord. So it kind of sounds like this. Okay, so it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. On the 1, you kind of have your heavy strum, and then the 2, 3 is kind of just a lighter strum, kind of in the middle strings. You do 1, 2, 3. You do that 4 times, and then it's a change of chord. So it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. In the second part, in the second half of the song, we have kind of a syncopated rhythm, which means it's kind of like a waltzy sound to it. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But if it's just kind of it's a down strum followed with an up strum. That's it. And the rhythm is kind of like this. So it's. So it's like that. So it's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's for the second half, and it's to give it that kind of the dancey swaying. So if you don't know what the waltz is, I recommend that you look it up and just understand why it's called the waltz. It's just the way the movement. If you can picture the movement in the dance, you can picture yourself strumming this song as well. So the first half of the song, the first verse, goes off the triplet thing that we were talking about. So we start with the G chord. If you don't, just to go back over the G chord, we have our pinky and ring finger on the E and the B string on the 3rd fret. We have our middle finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret, and we have our index finger on the A string of the 2nd fret. Some of you might know the G like this, which is perfectly fine as well. Okay, if you're still struggling to get the G, you can just play and just have those 2 fingers up on the E and the A string. Okay, the second chord, then the progression into it is an E minor. Okay, so you take your bottom 2 fingers off, you take your middle finger, and you put it underneath the A, so on the D string of the 2nd fret. Okay, so now you have your index finger on the A string, 2nd fret, and you have your ring finger on the D string, or the middle finger on the D string, 2nd fret. Okay, and I'm calling it 2nd fret because it's the 2nd fret from the capo or capo, whatever way you pronounce it. If it was without the capo, it would be the 2nd fret on the guitar. So this is why you can still play it. Okay, doesn't sound the exact same, but it still has the same tune to it, so you can still sing along with it. So the chord after that then is going from so we're going to go from the E minor to the C. So you're leaving your middle finger where it is, and you're putting your ring finger up on the A string on the 3rd fret, so the 2nd string down. So that's the start to C, and then we have our. If you're here, fine. You can play it like this, okay. But to add to it, then we can put our index finger on the B string, so the second string up on the first fret. Okay, and then we go to our D chord. So we have our index finger on the G string, third string up. We have our ring finger on the third fret of the B string, is the second string up, and we have our middle finger on the E string, the high E string at the bottom on the second fret. Okay, and it's important that when we're strumming that, we're strumming kind of from the D string down. Okay, so just to go over that chord progression, we have G, E minor, C, D. So the strumming more or less stays the same for the pre-chorus. We have the same chord progression as well. So we have the G, the E, the C to D, more or less. The only thing that's different with the pre-chorus is at the end. So the pre-chorus plays through those chords twice. So it goes, so instead of the verse goes G, E, C, D, and then it goes into the pre-chorus. But for the pre-chorus, we have G, E minor, C, and D twice before we go into the chorus. The only difference is when we get to the C, for the first part of the pre-chorus, he goes from the C to a G and then to the D again. Okay, and then he goes back to the G, and then it's just a normal routine there. So G, E minor, C, and D. So just to play that along. We have, I'm going to play it with you, so. Okay, so like what I was saying at the start, we do the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, okay, and on the fourth time of that song, of the pre-chorus, so we do that overall for pre-chorus 8 times, but then on the fourth time, we will go from the C, and then we will go G, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then to D, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so think of splitting. So we have, for example, I'll count it through with you. We have the G. We're going to start on G. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Okay. Sorry, 3 and then 3.5. Okay. Or 3.5 and 4. Sorry. And then it just goes normally again. So we just have the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, and then it goes into the chorus. So if you're a little confused over that piece, just go stop this video now and go and listen to the song. You'll hear after you play the verse and it goes into the pre-chorus, you will hear for the first half of the pre-chorus, it will change from the G to the D on the 3.5 and 4B. So just pause the video now, go have a look at that song, and then come back to the video when you have that done. Another thing about the pre-chorus is that it's very similar to the bridge in that it's the same kind of chord progression, except for the bridge you only do it once, okay, and you don't go from G to D, you just do the usual chord progression, so G, E minor, C, and D. for the pre-chorus and the bridge, I know I've been doing the kind of the triplet strumming, but he kind of goes into that the waltzing strumming that I was telling you about. So he has the down, up, down, up, down, up, down. He brings that kind of strumming pattern into it. Now you can stick to the triplet strumming if you want, but I would like you to throw it in the waltzing one every now and then, just so that you can get the kind of feel the difference of being able to change from one strumming pattern to another in a song. That's what we've been working on over the last few weeks, and be good to try and throw that into this song as well. So the chorus is a little bit different. We have the same chords, but just in a slightly different pattern. So instead of starting on the G, we're going to start on the E minor. So we have the E minor, we got progress, then to C, then we go to G, and then we go to D. Okay, and the kind of the strumming is a little bit different. So it's kind of a mix between the triplets and the waltz. Okay, so we kind of have just we have a down strum, and then we have down up again. Okay. That's the way we go. So we have, it's going to be on 2 beats. So you're going to play each chord for 2 beats. So it's going to sound like. Okay, and you play that right the way through the chorus. So the only thing that changes about the chorus then is the last chorus of the song, where he says, "No, I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight." Where he just holds a C for a little bit longer, then he goes to a D, and then he goes back to a G, and then we're going to go into kind of the closing out of the song. But that's just to note as well. It's just kind of like an added line on the end of the last chorus. It's just a C, D, G. Okay, and people can pick to finish the song there. But if you want to go on for the last little musical interlude, stick with the video. Now, so I suppose the last bit is the kind of musical interludes, and ironically, we're going to go back to the start of the song. Okay, so the intro, we have kind of a musical interlude, that's played quite quickly. And if you're playing it, it's just down strum. You can play just down strum, so you can, but it's quite quick. So it's. And then it goes into the song. So just to go over that, we have a G, D, E minor, D, C, C, D, D, and then he goes into the song. Okay, the only difference for the outro then is it's the same strumming pattern. So we have the G, D, E minor, D, C, C, D, D, and then we finish on a G. Okay, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can throw in the waltzing strumming as well. So you can have a. Like so. Okay, so you just have a down, up, down, down, up, down. So you have to be able to change between the up and the down. And again, you have to be able to change the chords. If you're struggling with that, just try to practice with the one strum. So, okay, and that way you'll be able to speed up kind of the chord change throughout the song. So that's the song "Perfect" by Sheeran. That's the simplest way to do it. So that's the strumming. The way he does it, he has kind of like a plucking technique where he just plucks the chords. But don't worry about that. If you play the strumming patterns, you will be able to play along with the song at parties and things like that. and you'd probably be popular because Ed Sheeran songs are popular at parties, and everybody knows Ed Sheeran, everybody knows his songs. So if you can play any Ed Sheeran song, you're going to be in with the crowd. So next week we're going to touch back a little bit on the theory, but I hope you enjoyed the song this week. If you have any suggestions for songs that you want to learn, don't be afraid to put them in the comments below, and then I can do them depending on whether they're appropriate for kind of the Tuesday videos and where we're at the moment. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you this time next Tuesday for our theory class.